Alright, here's my speech.
So are you starting it now?
Yes,
Wait,
no.
stop. Restart it. No.
There's 5 guys. You got your career.
Six.
Okay, there's 6. And y'all,
He deserves extra credit.
Give him a man. Give him a name.
Hey, let's all just jump.
You
out
can
the ladder.
begin.
Cheers.
I'm going to begin now, and if you could all just hold your signs to the end, it'd be greatly appreciated. Alright, so in the year 1872, it's a pretty important year. Do any of y'all know what happened in 1872?
The
No?
production of the first cigarette.
Almost.
Tobacco was
It's
taxed.
a rhetorical question, I understand.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But it's okay. 1872, Washington Duke started his first tobacco company, which began to become the largest producing tobacco company of the time. And that was carried on by his son, James Buchanan Duke, who carried on the company and made it the empire that it was. And why this is important, and that was from my history book, which I recently am taking this year. So I've cited my sources. And turn off your cell phones, please. Thank you. And so cigarettes, I mean, they're everywhere today, as you all know. You see them everywhere you smoke. You know, there's tobacco as well. And I just want to inform y'all and introduce y'all to the negative effects of cigarettes, because they do impact our lives whether we notice it or not, and they've impacted me personally. So without further ado, cigarettes, within them there's tobacco, which in itself has nicotine, which makes it addictive, and you spend lots of money because of the nicotine that's within the tobacco. And then companies add their own additives to these cigarettes. There's 600 additives that are approved by the FDA to be in your cigarettes, and within those there's at least 4,000 chemicals in the cigarettes. And these cigarettes, these additives, although we may not know, the actual side effects of them, because you don't really test them. They're just like, oh, they seem okay. But once you put it in the chemical reaction, you burn it, you put it in your mouth, these side effects can become bad and cause further harm to you than it may appear. And that is from cancer.org, which I've been using for most of this assignment. And with these additives, they affect you whether you really think about it or not, and they've affected my grandmother and my dad directly, very personally. My grandmother died in 2004 at the age of 72 from lung cancer. She had it 9 years, from just before I was born and until I was 9 years old. And it took over one of her lungs. It went away, but then it came back and it kind of wiped her out. She couldn't find anymore. So the whole time I knew her, she was in a wheelchair. She was going through chemo, and so I never saw any positive side to smoking. It was always, that's what you're gonna go through if you smoke. And then my dad was addicted to cigarettes ever since he was a little kid, and so growing up with him, really saw all the wrinkliness and bad smelling of it. And then, either be like, Dad, hey, can you stop smoking? He's like, yeah, this is the last pack. But, that was never the last pack. He always brings promises to us. And he'd be spending, $5 on a pack a day and not spending it on other things that probably be worth more than And me personally, it hurts my allergies. It comes in and I start getting a runny nose, cough, and sneezing. I don't want to be around them. And then, when I was a little kid, it was hard for me to breathe. I had to go put my head in a cooler so I could breathe, because it just took a bad toll on me. And, if cigarettes are affecting me like this, I think how it could affect you if someone in your life, got cancer or something, because people do get cancer, and it is the main side effect from cigarettes, because, the main health concern is that cancer from cigarettes is very traumatic. There are various types of cancer you can get, anything from your larynx to the lungs, all throughout your nasal cavities and whatnot. And cancer, 30% of all cancer-related deaths are from smoking cigarettes. Just imagine the numbers from there. Secondhand smoking is included in that, although it's not as big of a deal because you aren't, getting it directly. It is still can be an issue. So watch who you hang out with, watch who you're dating, who you're living with, because they can harm you as well. And this is from the Department of Health and Human Services. Smoking is the single most preventable cause of death in the United States because it is a choice. You can choose not to smoke, you can choose to smoke. I mean, really, it's up to you. You just have to live with the consequences and the effects of it. Because it becomes acquired behavior, so you get addicted to it by choice. And I mean, that is your choice. It is your free will. Take it how you want to. Appearance, it can affect your appearance various different ways. Within your body itself, your lungs, it decreases your lung capacity by about 10% every time you smoke a pack or so, and it decreases your life about a year for every pack or two. My doctor told me. And it'll yellow your teeth. It'll, you smell like smoke. You get wrinkles. You look old. You don't become the age you are. You look older, and you look disgusting. No offense to anybody if you smoke. Just kind of happens. But besides health concerns, it also can affect restaurants and campuses. I'm sure if y'all noticed on the A&M campus, there's certain places where you can and can't smoke. Blinn campus, they don't allow smoking at all on there. And that's just for the safety of the students and for the well-being of the buildings and whatnot. And then, like restaurants, you have to have sections where people can smoke, and which may deter people who don't care to be around cigarettes from going to your restaurant. So you have to take in those different side effects when you're going through everything. And also, they tax cigarettes heavily. You're paying $5 a pack. Probably 4 of that's going to the government. Everyone complains about taxes, so you're gonna complain about taxes while smoking a cigarette, and you just gave a whole bunch of money to the government. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So that's kind of what I had for y'all, just to inform you and introduce you to the topic of cigarettes and how they can not only affect you but affect those around you. So like before the next time you go light up, I hope that you remember me and the speech I give you, and just kind of cogitate about what you're doing, because you are hurting not only yourself but others around you, and it's something you really need to take into account. So thank y'all for coming and listening, and I'm gonna show y'all once more just so she sees that everyone stayed and listened and didn't fall asleep. Alright, there's everybody again.
Oh yeah! Let's go.
There you go.
Good fire.